Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: senior NHS doctors offer to suspend strikes for pay negotiations. Covid-induced Nobel Prize is on brand. World Bank turns pessimistic on Asia growth. Plant enzyme could help treat Huntington's disease. U.S. Treasury yields hit 16-year high as bond rout resumes. Senior NHS doctors offer to suspend strikes for pay negotiations. Financial Times. Senior NHS doctors have offered to halt further strike action if ministers agree to hold pay talks mediated by the conciliation body ACAS. This comes as both consultants and junior doctors represented by the British Medical Association, BMA, are staging a 3-day strike coinciding with the Conservative Party conference. The BMA has said that it will hold off calling further strikes for 4 weeks to allow time for talks, but will resume action if there is no credible deal by November 3. The Department of Health and Social Care said that doctors had received a fair and reasonable pay rise. Covid-induced Nobel Prize is on brand. Reuters breaking views. 2 scientists, Catalin Carrico and Drew Weissman, have won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for their work on mRNA vaccines that helped combat the COVID-19 pandemic. The recognition came relatively quickly, as it usually takes around 25 years between publishing work and receiving the Nobel Prize in Medicine. However, the pace of recognition has slowed down in recent years due to local regulations designed to prevent harm to patients. Incentives for innovative work are often at odds with risk aversion, as universities and companies prefer incremental science over ideas with a high failure rate. The COVID-19 pandemic expedited the development of vaccines, but it is important to continue studying how to speed up innovation while ensuring safety and efficacy. World Bank turns pessimistic on Asia growth. Financial Times. The World Bank has downgraded its growth forecasts for China and other developing economies in East Asia and the Pacific due to sluggish post-pandemic recovery, rising levels of debt, and U.S. protectionism. The bank lowered its growth forecast for China from 4.8% to 4.4% in 2023 and for the broader set of developing economies in the region from 4.8% to 4.5%. The region is expected to experience its slowest pace of improvement since the late 1960s. China's property sector is a key barrier to progress, as retail sales have fallen to pre-pandemic levels. However, factory activity expanded in September for the first time in 6 months, consumer prices have edged back from deflation, and the rate of decline in exports has eased. There have also been positive developments on trade tensions and export controls with the EU and the US. Plant enzyme could help treat Huntington's disease. Telegraph. Scientists at the University of Cologne have discovered that an enzyme found in plants could help treat Huntington's disease. Huntington's is a degenerative disease caused by a single defect in the Huntingtin gene, which transforms a normally useful protein into a brain cell killer, leading to loss of movement, speech, and dignity. The enzyme used by plants to remove protein clumps in the brain of people with Huntington's is called stromal processing peptidase, SPP. The scientists have received funding from the German government to develop the enzyme into a treatment. U.S. Treasury yields hit 16-year high as bond rout resumes. Financial Times. U.S. Treasury yields have reached a new 16-year high as the global bond sell-off resumes. The benchmark 10-year Treasury yield rose 0.13 percentage points to 4.7%, the highest level since 2007, after better-than-expected manufacturing data bolstered investors' belief that the U.S. economy is in good shape. Bond prices have fallen sharply in recent weeks due to a surge in Treasury issuance, along with a growing belief among investors that central banks will have to hold interest rates at a high level for an extended period. Tom Hanks says dental advert he stars in is an AI fake. Telegraph. Tom Hanks has denied starring in a dental advertisement, claiming that his image was created using artificial intelligence, AI. The actor posted a screenshot of the fake advert on Instagram, warning his followers to beware. Hanks has previously spoken about the potential for AI to create digital versions of actors, enabling them to continue appearing in films long after their death. The actors' union, SAG-AFTRA, has been on strike since July over concerns that AI could be used to generate performers' likenesses without their permission. Microsoft chief says Google default agreements make search choice bogus. Financial Times. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella testified in an antitrust trial between Google and the U.S. Department of Justice, stating that the idea that users have a choice in internet search is bogus due to contracts that make Google the default search engine on mobile devices. Nadella criticized the agreements that the U.S. government is challenging, accusing Google of paying over $10 billion annually to ensure it remains the default search engine. Nadella also addressed Google's agreement with Apple, saying that he had tried to secure a default agreement with Bing, which could cost Microsoft nearly $15 billion a year. Microsoft CEO testifies on limits of AI at Google trial. Wall Street Journal. Microsoft President Brad Smith testified in a Washington courtroom that Google has used unfair tactics to dominate the search engine market. Smith endorsed the Justice Department's theory that Google has used default agreements with phone makers to ensure its search engine is the default for users. Smith said that Google's 90% market share has created a vicious cycle where the company's dominance is continually reinforced. The non-jury trial, overseen by U.S. District Judge Amit Mehta, could potentially result in the breakup of Google. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your trusted observer from the 6 Degrees world. Today, we have some interesting news to discuss. First, senior NHS doctors have offered to suspend strikes if pay negotiations are held. The doctors are seeking talks mediated by ACAS to resolve the ongoing pay dispute. It's a good sign that both sides are willing to engage in dialogue, and let's hope a credible deal can be reached by November 3rd. In other news, 2 scientists have been awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for their work on mRNA vaccines that have been instrumental in combating the COVID-19 pandemic. This recognition comes relatively quickly, considering the usual timeframe for winning the Nobel Prize. It highlights the importance of incentivizing innovative work and finding a balance between risk aversion and the need for breakthroughs. Unfortunately, the World Bank has downgraded its growth forecasts for China and other developing economies in East Asia and the Pacific. The sluggish post-pandemic recovery, rising debt levels, and U.S. protectionism are major factors contributing to this downgrade. China's property sector is a significant barrier to progress, but there have been some positive developments in trade tensions and export controls with the EU and the US. On a more hopeful note, scientists at the University of Cologne have discovered that an enzyme found in plants could potentially help treat Huntington's disease. This degenerative disease has devastating effects, and any breakthrough in treatment is welcome news. The researchers have received funding to develop this plant enzyme into a treatment, and we hope to see progress in the future. In the financial realm, U.S. Treasury yields have reached a 16-year high as the global bond sell-off continues. Better than expected manufacturing data has bolstered investors' confidence in the U.S. economy. However, this surge in yields and the belief that interest rates will remain high for an extended period have led to a sharp fall in bond prices. And finally, Tom Hanks has warned his followers about an AI fake dental advertisement featuring his image. This incident highlights the potential for AI to create digital versions of actors, raising concerns about the unauthorized use of their likenesses. Now, my dear viewers, I would love to hear your thoughts on these news stories. Do you have any brilliant insights or burning questions? Share your ideas, and let's have an enlightening discussion. Thank you for joining me today, and remember to stay curious, stay informed, and stay connected in the 6 Degrees world. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.